Reggie here, your friendly neighborhood bodybuilder and comic book collector, and I want to welcome you to another one of my live streams. This is the Ready, Set, Go preview show. This is the show that we've been doing for the last 42 weeks, typically on a Sunday night, but we have to make some adjustments because other things are getting in the way of comics. So we are live on Saturday night, and we are going to hopefully have an awesome show and give away a really cool book. And I'm also going to show you guys, I think, a pretty awesome book that is going to be given away in this coming week. And I had some things that I wanted to talk about on the show tonight. And as I was vacuuming right before the show, I had a little bit of an epiphany, so I may make some adjustments in what we're going to talk about. But generally speaking, as part of this show that we do every single week, we always give away a slab, preview a slab. We talk about some news and some current events, and then I also give you a preview of everything that is going to be coming out from the channel over the course of this week. And we are definitely going to get to all of that stuff, but we're going to play with it. We're going to be a little fluid and flexible with this one. So before we get going, I want to say hello to some comic book soldiers that have joined me here in the room tonight. Sith Lord is in the house. How you doing, brother? Glitter and Duct Tape is in the house. C plus E2 is in the house. Tina is in the house. It's good to see you. Matthew, it is good to see you, my friend. Scrolling down, so I should say Matt, and then we have Matthew as well. It's good to see both of the Matts in the house. Scrolling down through the names here, seeing who else is in here. You guys were having a pretty good conversation. Jeremy is here. It's good to see you, my friend. Scrolling. Bearded Comic Collector is here as well. Scrolling. Randy, my man Randy. I see you, boy. You see it back there, Randy. It's good to see you, brother. Hopefully you were able to reach out to that person that I sent you a message about earlier today, because I think he was interested in chatting with you, and he doesn't have Instagram. So hopefully you guys are able to connect. High Voltage Mark, how you doing, my friend? It's good to see you. Welcome to the live stream. Crypt Keeper, sorry. Crypt Keeper, how you doing, brother? It is good to see you. All right, so hopefully Janet is in the house. Chris Barrett is here. Ethan is here. Quest Dog is here. Brandon is here. It's good to see all of you guys. Tom Garcia is also here as well. Welcome to the live stream. Welcome to the Ready, Set, Go preview show. Not sure how many people are going to make it tonight, because we tend to have a much better night when we go live on Sunday night, just because I think people are so accustomed to doing it on Sunday night. But we are going to have fun nevertheless. So there were some things that I wanted to talk about tonight, and I may still talk about those things, but the little epiphany that I had a short while ago while vacuuming, and I definitely want to get you all's opinion, because this is not a fully baked idea. It is something that popped into my head, and I was like, you know what, I want to think about this one. And so one of the thoughts that I had was around older comics, like Silver Age comics. One of the things that I enjoy about Silver Age comics is that you can know a little bit about the character, and you can read a comic from the Silver Age, and you can thoroughly enjoy that particular comic without knowing a whole lot about the character, and without knowing a whole lot about comics in some way, and to some degree or another, right? And part of the reason for that is because a lot of the Silver Age comics, and I'm generalizing here, a lot of the Silver Age comics are kind of self-contained stories, right? You can jump into a book, and you can read that book, and you can know everything you need to know, right? There is like an intro. There is some kind of conflict that happens. There is typically some kind of resolution, and then it's a setup for the next story. And everything happens within the pages of that particular comic. And I've had a lot of people say to me, what are your favorite story arcs? Well, the challenge that I have is a lot of the books, like Spider-Man, for example, Amazing Spider-Man, there aren't really story arcs. They're like individual books where I'm like, I like issue 38, right? And it's not like you don't have to name a story arc or a major event. It is like a self-contained book. And so as I thought about that, one of the thoughts that I had is the current environment making it more difficult for people that are coming into the hobby to onboard, right? In the sense that you can't just read a self-contained story sometimes and just enjoy that story for its sake, because you need to know what happened 20 years ago and what happened in this issue or that issue that came out this month, because it's kind of all interconnected. And I want to, again, I'm trying to see, whether there's something here, and I'll see what you all's responses are to this in just a moment. This is something that kind of popped into my mind, is that the way that we are, that stories are being written right now, they're being written in such a way that it all leads to something. It all leads to like a major event. It all leads to a crossover. It all leads to you, buying more comics in order to fully appreciate the story, versus the story and the comic in and of itself just being a form of entertainment that just can be consumed and enjoyed. And so, I don't know. I don't know if there's something there, but that was something that kind of popped into my mind earlier today. Ivan, how you doing, brother? It's good to see you, my friend. What is this? Let me scroll up just a little bit to make sure. Tina's like, I love the muscle shirt. If you guys haven't seen this, comic book soldiers, this is the muscle shirt that I'm actually testing out. And what I've realized is that this muscle shirt is actually it runs a little large. And so that's something that's part of the reason why I'm testing it out, because I typically wear an extra large. This is an extra large, but there's a lot of room in this shirt. My wife actually tried to shrink it for me because it was that roomy, but thank you, Tina. Definitely appreciate that. So let me scroll through. H Factor, how you doing, brother? It's good to see you. Lee is saying, Stan Lee said every comic had to be written as if it was the first comic the reader ever picked up. And I think that there is something to that. I mean, you look at, and we talk a lot on this channel about the Gibbon, who is sitting back behind me, right? You look at Amazing Spider-Man 110. In and of itself, Amazing Spider-Man 110 was a great story. It was a self-contained story that told you everything you needed to know about Martin Blank, aka the Gibbon. And yeah, there was Amazing Spider-Man 111 that involved Kraven the Hunter doing some things with Martin Blank, but 110 in and of itself was a great story by itself. You did not need to read 111 to understand 110, and you could read 111 and still enjoy that, as Kraven slipped Martin Blank all kinds of herbs to enhance him. But yeah, I mean, I think that maybe Stan was onto something, because, and maybe it was the way that things were done back in the day, where comics were put on the spinner rack and at the newsstand, and there was a chance that the retailer wouldn't carry the next book, or that the kid or the adult or whoever wouldn't have an opportunity to pick up that next book. And so maybe he was writing these things in such a way that they had to be self-contained pieces of entertainment. And so maybe there's something to that. So Greek Freak is saying, this is so true. They are seemingly complete stories for the most part. And I'm guessing he's referring to, like, back in the day, they were mostly like self-contained stories. I mean, yeah, there were some things that kind of crossed over and all that kind of stuff, but by and large, you could read a comic and just enjoy the comic for it, So scrolling down through the comments here, we just had a conversation about the same topic just today with my LCS owner, says Matt Wood. Yeah, and maybe there's something there. I mean, again, it's crazy, the stuff that pops into my head when I'm doing like mindless things like washing dishes and vacuuming, which is the case earlier today. I washed dishes, then I vacuumed, and this was the epiphany that I had. And part of it is, I don't want to sound like, the guy that's like, get off my lawn, all you young whippersnappers. I don't want to sound like that, but it was just a thought. It was just a thought that maybe there's something there, and I had a couple of other thoughts and epiphanies about some things, but maybe we'll save those for a better day. What would have Hickman done writing in the 60s? Great question. And what's funny, Greek Freak, is that's actually part of what I was just thinking about. So not necessarily about Hickman per se, but it was more along the lines of, I've been talking a lot about like the new Amazing Spider-Man series, how I don't think that it's all that good, right? And that's Reggie's opinion, right? That is my opinion. And I honestly haven't read probably the last 5 issues. So maybe it turned the corner and maybe it got really good. But someone said to me, how about you make some suggestions on like how to make it better? And one of the suggestions that kind of popped into my head is replace the writer, right? And that is a fix. And then, as I'm playing this scenario out, it was like, well, man, just throw Jonathan Hickman on it, or just throw, Donnie Cates on it. And so then my counter to my own argument, and this is me having this conversation in my head. My counter to that was, you can't have 2 or 3 individuals writing every single story. You need more people. You need more writers, more talented people that can actually write. And then it kind of went there. And then it proceeded into this last thought that I just shared with you guys around the self-contained nature of stories back in the day. So it's just interesting that Greek Freak actually brought up Jonathan Hickman, because I was thinking about him and Donnie Cates as I led into, the get off my lawn, you whippersnapper thoughts. What is this? Hold on, let me scroll up just a little bit. New video series, Reggie's opinion. Man, I don't know if we need that. Child, I don't know if we. Yeah, I try to preface it with, hey, these are just my opinions and my thoughts, so that I don't get attacked in the comment section. John, how you doing, brother? It's good to see you. What is this? My takeaway is vacuuming is boring, and Reggie thinks about comments. Well done, sir. Well done. Lee, you do a good job. He makes me laugh. He really does. But no, what's funny is that I have these thoughts, man, when I'm doing when I'm washing dishes, or when I'm vacuuming, or when I'm driving down the street. These are the thoughts that kind of, ramble. And I tell people all the time, like, I'm noodling something. This is how I come up with story ideas. I do mindless stuff, and then it just kind of pops into my head, and then I play with it in my head, where I kind of say, well, what about this? And then I counter myself. And then by the time it's all done, typically I have something that I can actually work with. But yeah, it's a beautiful mind, and not in necessarily a good way. What is it? Greek Free says, yeah, I only read ASM right now because I wanted to try the main 2099 comics, because I never read the old ones. Oh, that's what's up. I get that. I definitely get that. It's just, I'm not really enjoying that new ASM series. And maybe it's turned the corner. I'm about 5 issues behind, just because I wasn't really enjoying it. So fingers crossed that it actually gets better. And for me, I don't think the answer is just change the writer. It's like, hey, maybe they can find a way to make the writer better. I don't know. New ASM is hard to read. Would have thought Nazi Cat would make editors not put him on Spidey, but what do you do? Yeah, I don't know, brother. I don't know. Let me see. Hey, I don't know what to tell you. Matthew's on a roll tonight too. Let me see. Tom King wrote his butt off on Batman. He shot for the moon and didn't quite hit it, but he tried. I wish more writers would be as bold as. Yeah, I mean that maybe that's part of it. Maybe that's part of it, is maybe people need to shoot for the stars, and maybe try some things that are a little aggressive, a little different. I don't know what the answer is, because the question becomes, is the rate limiting factor the creativity of the writers, or is it the mandate that is being handed to them by Marvel and by DC and by these others? I don't know what it is. And that's part of the reason why I decided to do that series, the video that came out earlier this week around indies, right? Because I think that there's a lot of good stuff that is coming out from independents, and I wanted to make sure that I highlighted that and didn't just continue to focus just on Marvel and DC. And I think a lot of you guys put some really wonderful comments in the comment section about some really great independent stuff that is out there. And I actually, I read an indie comic earlier today, and it was not good. So I had to be completely fair and transparent that just because it's independent doesn't mean that it's good. And that's like saying that just because it's Marvel or DC doesn't make it bad, right? There is good and bad everywhere. And so the question is, where can you find those really great nuggets that exist? Because I think that they are out there. So scrolling a couple of comments here. Jeremy is asking, did anyone read Kevin Smith's Daredevil? Was it any good? I did not, but maybe someone here in the room did, and hopefully they will comment back for you and give you a little bit of context here. Rob Worst, the reality is that the next writer can walk back everything that happened before, just reboot, just write the story you want to tell, and it's not good, then at least you try. Yeah, I mean, maybe there's something there with that as well. Shoot for the stars, and maybe or shoot for the moon, and maybe you'll hit a star, or maybe it's shoot for the moon, maybe hit a star, moon, moon, star. I don't know, something like that. Try harder. How about that? Nate's being a nut here. The Gibbon's dead. He died in an Amazing Spider-Man 18.HU. I think he died, or was it 18.1 or something like that? But yeah, he did. He did. He's not coming back. Aaron Finkelstein, how you doing? He says the indies are good, but you cannot just pick up anywhere and start. Has to be number one. Yeah, I think that's also an interesting point right there. I picked up a number one of a comic that a couple of people told me about. I picked it up and I tried to read it, and the struggle was real. The struggle was real. I felt like they were rushing it. They were trying to give me like a story in the moment, as well as all of this background all in the same issue. And I felt rushed. I felt like there was too much all at once, instead of, either giving me a background or giving me a really good story or giving me like light of each. It was heavy in both. And I felt like it was a little bit of a not a great read, and I ended up skipping like the last couple of pages because I was like, this is not getting better, so let's just wrap this up. What is this? Cohesiveness is key. The books need to fit together and complement one another, not be required. Yeah, I agree. And I think, with some of the stuff that Donny Cates kind of sort of did with the Absolute Carnage, and I didn't read it all, but the Absolute Carnage and Venom, I felt like each one of those stories, right? Not necessarily issues, but stories, was kind of sort of self-contained. And then there were some additive things that came in from like Venom, for example, that added to your understanding if you were reading Absolute Carnage. But you could read Absolute Carnage, you could read Venom and still kind of know what's going on. At least that was my feeling. But I've also been reading Venom from the very beginning and read Absolute Carnage from the very beginning. So maybe it was a little bit easier for me to get on board with those. But I think part of it just depends upon the writer. It depends upon the strength of the writer and the latitude that writer actually has to actually be creative. So you guys are nuts. Comic Mike, how you doing, brother? It is good to see you, my friend. So that was one of the topics that I wanted to talk about that kind of reset things, was this idea of olds versus new comics. And again, that's not to say that new comics are all garbage. That's not to say that all old comics are like the greatest thing ever. It was just an observation that I had around how comics were done in the past versus how they were done now. And at the end of the day, if you have a good writer, and if you have a good creative team, a good artist, then it doesn't matter. It can all work if those people are working together and if they're also being very, very creative. So huge shout out to my man, Vika Closet Geek, just dropped this nice super chat. I definitely appreciate that, brother. It is good to see you, my friend. And I definitely appreciate the super chat. Very, very appreciative of when that kind of stuff comes in. So thank you for that. It's good to see you. Let me know if there's something you want me to Ron Worse is like, man. My man Vika has been a long time supporter of the channel, and he and I go back and forth on Instagram, not as often as now because I think we're both very busy. But he is one of those guys that I talk with on a regular basis that I genuinely enjoy. So definitely a good guy. What run am I going to work on after ASM? Yeah. So here, let's pause on this for a second. So there was, I don't know if it was the pre-Thanksgiving. I'm sorry. I don't know if it was the Thanksgiving or the post-Thanksgiving live stream that I did, but somebody inadvertently gave me a $500 super chat. And it was like, whoa, let's stop the presses. And then the person was like, whoa, I hit the wrong button. So I think that actually was pulled off like yesterday. They actually just pulled that super chat out of my analytics report like yesterday or day before or something like that. So yeah, that would have been a dope super chat though. But mistakes happen, and the person that inadvertently hit the wrong button is an awesome guy, and I think he felt really bad, and he should not have, because mistakes happen, and I enjoy him as well. So what is this? Comic Book Joe, how you doing, bro? It's good to see you. So there was a comment about, or a question about, what I'm going to work on after ASM. So ASM is still the priority. I still have some ways to go with that, because I have like one more book to get between 1 and 441, and then there's a healthy number of books as you start to look in the 600s, right? I think I'm missing a lot in like the upper 500s and upper 600s, if memory serves. But after that, I don't know. I honestly don't know if I'm ever going to really work on a run as big as this one, as ASM, ever again. I think there may be some smaller runs that I try to get, like some stretches of X-Men that I might want to pick up. Not the full run of Chris Claremont, because 17 years is a lot of books. I mean, I might as well do the full run, right? But I think that there may be sections of runs that I actually want to work on in the future. To be determined, to be honest with you. So I want to talk about one other thing before we get to the giveaway. And this is actually part of what I wanted to talk about originally, but decided to punt it. I want to talk about this, and then there's one other thing that I want to get to. So I'm gonna try to cram in a lot. So bear with me, guys, as I do this. So somebody told me, including my man Vika, about this show right here. It is called V Wars. V Wars is a new Netflix series that just started, and I actually started watching it. I think it was yesterday. And I've watched a lot of it. I did a little bit of binge watching over the course of today, and our first episode was pretty good. And then, it kind of waxed and waned for me. I'm probably about 8 episodes in. I mean, I've watched a lot of it, I'm gonna be honest with you. As I've done other things around the house and over the course of the last day or so, I've watched a lot of it. And part of me was like, I wonder, because I knew that this was, or I heard that this was based upon a comic. So I actually pulled up the comic and I actually started reading it. And what I've realized is that I actually like the comic better than I like the TV show. One of the things that I actually struggled with this thing was the fact that it was called V Wars, and the TV show isn't exactly a war. Whereas the comic, and I've only read like the first several pages of the comic, it is actually a war between vampires and humans. And the TV show actually isn't that. It is not a war. It's basically, it's an okay story. They took some liberties from the comic book, like the main guy that is the vampire in the TV show was best friends with the scientist, and in the comic, the main vampire was actually a barista. And so it's just they've taken some liberties with it. I feel like the comic did a better job of kind of explaining some things that this pathogen that they were exposed to woke up various dormant junk DNA that we all have and activated it. And each one of us, depending upon where we are and where we are from, has different types of junk DNA that gets activated. And so because of that, the vampires that are basically turned tend to look very different. And so one of the things I struggle with the TV show is like, why do they all look different? That one looks more like a vampire, this looks more like a human. Like, what's the deal here? This one looks more like a monster with like a full set of teeth, and this one just has 2 long teeth on either side, which is your typical vampire. And the comic did, I think, a better job of kind of articulating why there is the difference between them because of the activation of the junk DNA and where we all come from and what's in our DNA. And there were things like that I enjoyed a little bit better in the comic than I did in the TV show. And the TV show is this idea of this guy that is like kind of meandering through things. He's a scientist, but he's also like a hero. And it feels like a story that we've seen and heard 1,000 times over. The scientist turned accidental hero, and it felt dated to me. I mean, I'm still watching it. I'm gonna still watch it because I love vampires, but not the best story. Not the best story in my mind. Feels a little B grade, but I enjoyed the comic, and I'm gonna continue reading the comic. I think there's actually like 3 graphic novels, I want to say, that I was able to find, and I'm maybe 10 or 15 pages or something like that into the first one, so I'm probably going to continue doing that. But if you guys get a chance, check it out, because I mean, I think it's worth a watch. I think it's worth supporting anything that is comic book related on TV. I mean, that's just my general feeling. It's called V Wars. But if you also get a chance to check out the comic book or the trade, I think that's also a worthwhile thing to check out as well. So let me scroll down. Vika, thank you for stopping by, brother. Thank you for dropping a super chat on me. Get some rest, my man, and talk to you soon. So, Lost Boys. It was a dope show back in the day, or a movie. I can't tell you how many times I watched that thing over and over the years. Thoroughly, thoroughly enjoyed The Boys, or Lost Boys, I should say, because I guess now there's a Real Boys show as well. So scrolling up, I think I missed a comment here. Maybe Reggie is a millionaire. And I'm so I don't know where that comment came from, but I'm definitely not a millionaire. The 30 Days of Night, definitely a great comic. Great comic. And I think it was what, 3 comics? I think it was a mini series. Great comic and great movie as well. Thoroughly enjoyed this one for sure. This was one that was really good. So I'm scrolling through, making sure I didn't miss anything. But yeah, if you guys get a chance, try to check out the let me get rid of that comment though. Hide that one. If you try to get a chance, check out this V Wars, because again, I think it was enjoyable as a TV show, but then the comic here, you can actually see it up on screen by Jonathan Mayberry. It's also really good. So before I get to the giveaway, I want to do one thing before we jump into this thing. So a buddy of mine by the name of John Zeno actually reached out to me, and I've gotten to know John pretty well. I think he's been a subscriber to the channel probably for like 2 years. Like, I think he has been on board with the channel for a very long time. And he and I also talk from time to time about a lot of things comic related. Yes, he's a huge Submariner fan and keeps trying to get me to sell him one of my Submariner #1s. But we also talk about fatherhood. His children are older than mine, but once a father, always a father. And so he and I spend a lot of time talking about childhood and about children and about parenthood and the role that we play as fathers. And so he reached out to me the other day and he told me about this club that he had joined. And it's the Comic Book Fiends Club. And I don't know a whole lot about the club. I'm going to be honest with you. I think the club has been around for about 5 years. I don't know a ton about it. I'm going to just be honest. But John became a member of this club. And once he became a member of this club, he started to learn about many of the things that this club actually does. And he reached out to me and he asked me if I would be willing to help him out with a couple of things. And because John is my friend, and because John is a good guy, and because he's a father, it was a no-brainer for me to help him. And so what it seems is that these guys that are part of the guys and gals, I should say, that are part of the Comic Book Fiend Club actually do some really great community service. They actually collect comic books from the comic book community. They collect them from local comic shops, and they actually give them to local hospitals that take care of sick children. So I don't want to say children's hospitals because there aren't always children's hospitals. They basically donate comics to hospitals that take care of sick children, and they also donate comic books to service members, both men and women that are being deployed or whatever it happens to be. And so John's telling me this, and I'm like, bro, I have no problem helping you out. I have no problem helping out a guy that I like, and also people that are doing really good work. And so I'm actually going to post something up in the comment, not in the comments, but in the description of this video. And what I'm going to post up is information for John and one other member of the Comic Book Fiend Club. If you have books within your collection that are appropriate for children and or servicemen, I want to ask you to donate those books to a good cause. And I'm actually going to bundle up some books myself, and I'm going to be sending them over to John to give them to him so that he can give them away. And John is actually down in Florida. He's going to be donating his books to the Bethesda West Hospital in Boynton Beach, and also the Joe DiMaggio Hospital in Wellington, Florida. And I actually used to live in Florida for a couple of years, and my sister-in-law actually owns a practice in Wellington as well. So she lives down in that area still. So I'm going to be bundling some books up. I'm going to be sending them off to John, and John's going to be donating them to a really good cause to 2 hospitals that are down in the Florida area. So if you are interested in supporting a really good cause, I want to encourage you, once this video gets posted, to please take a look at the description in the video and actually donate a couple of books. And if it's 5 books, 3 books, whatever it is, it will help somebody. So there you go. All right. So what I want to do is I'm actually want to give away let me read these comments real quick. I don't want to skip over some of that. Tina's like, sounds great. Man, if I was still in shape, I'd do it. But now I'm like all dad bod. Comic Collection Agency, that's an awesome organization. He says he'll donate. Thank you, bro. Definitely appreciate that. Scrolling down through the comments here, Bearded Comic Collectors, like smash the like button. I definitely appreciate that. Lee Atkins says, I would love to donate to this cause. However, servicemen versus children has two different audiences entirely. So can we send anything and they can sort it? Yeah, what I think that I'm actually going to do is I'm going to bundle the books up, and I'll probably put like a divider or something like that between it, where it's like for servicemen or for children, or if I just send it for children, because that's what I might end up doing, is just taking care of the children, because that touches my heart. I might just put on there for the kids, right? And so that might be exactly what I do. But I think if you put some notes in there, it would help and go a long way. So scrolling through, Glitter and Duct Tape says, that's perfect, Reggie. I've been looking for something like that. Thank you, brother. If you donate, thank you. So Rob Worse is like, I live in Miami, my parents in Coral Springs, and I know a lot of people. That's what's up. That's what's up. I used to live down there as well. So I'm not going to comment on that one. So scrolling down through the comments here. Okay. All right. So that's cool. All right. So again, if you guys decide to donate, I would definitely appreciate that. So what I want to do right now is I actually want to do the giveaway real quick, because I know people have been patiently waiting, and I know it's kind of late on the East Coast. So let me go ahead and do the giveaway. I'll do that. I'm then going to show the book that is going to be given away next week. And then I'm going to give you a quick download on the videos and podcasts that are going to be released next week. So we're going to do things a little out of order, but there were other things that I wanted to kind of get to. So the book that we are going to be giving away right here, Tales of the Teen Titans, number 44, 9.8 with white pages. A really awesome book. So if you are the winner of this giveaway sponsored by Go Collect, all you have to do is to send me an email to regiecollects@gmail.com. And in that email, you have to tell me your screen name, your real name, and also your mailing address. And you also have to give me your shirt size. The shirts from Go Collect actually come in only two sizes, large and extra large. And so if you want the shirt, give me your size. If you don't want the shirt, let me know that as well, and I will give you a stylus. A stylus is the consolation prize. And then you also get this. It is a exclusive variant from Go Collect, Soul Fire exclusive. So if you are the winner, make sure that you send me that email as soon as this thing wraps up, so that I can bundle this up and actually get it ready for mailing out to you. All right. So let me go ahead and show you guys the list of names of all the individuals that were able to enter the giveaway. And we actually announced the giveaway, I think it was yesterday night, and a healthy number of people were actually able to sign up. And one reminder that I want to give everyone is that if in the new year, there are people that actually enter the contest twice, and I'm not talking about people that accidentally enter the contest. I'm talking about those individuals that actually change their email addresses and change their screen names and actually try to basically cheat the comic book community. I'm actually going to delete all of the person's entries, right? And so I think that that's only fair that we start to have some consequences for some of that stuff. And I'm not talking, again, if you accidentally hit the button, if you start typing your name in and you slip up and you accidentally hit the button and then you submit your information again, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about people that purposefully submit different email addresses and different screen names for the purpose of trying to cheat. That is what I'm talking about. So we are going to delete all entries if someone actually does that. And I just think that that's what we're going to have to do, unfortunately. So, and what's great is that it's not happening all the time. I want to put that out there and make it known that it is not happening all the time. It is an occasional thing. So we have 9. We've randomized the list, or we've rolled the dice, and we've actually rolled 9 times. So we are going to go ahead and randomize this list and give away this cool book. So let me try to share my screen one more time, and hopefully we get this thing right this time. Let me see if I did that right. No, I did not. So list, go here. All right. So hopefully you guys can actually see that. All right. So we're going to go ahead and randomize the list. Total of 9 times. That is 1. Scrolling down to the bottom. That is 2. Here is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And the winner of the Go Collect giveaway for this week is Robert Snyder, who I think is in the room right now. Robert Snyder, you, sir, are the winner of this week's Go Collect giveaway. So make sure you send me an email with your screen name, your real name, which I think I know what it is, your mailing address, your preference for either the t-shirt or the stylus. If it's the t-shirt, I need to know your size. Large or extra large are the only options that I have, and I will get this stuff bundled up and sent out to you in a timely fashion. All right. So scrolling down, making sure. So maybe he isn't here. If he is, cool. If not, you have a week, sir. You have a week, sir, to find me so that I can get this book sent out to you. But congrats, bro. Seriously, congrats. So it's definitely a cool book, and be my pleasure to send it out. So if you guys want to see the next book, we are actually going to get set up. Let me go ahead and close this screen, and I'm actually going to show you the next book that is going to be given away this week. And I definitely want you to stay tuned, because I'm actually going to be talking about the videos that are going to be coming out. And this is important because in one of these videos will be the phrase that you need to actually enter the Go Collect giveaway. And so you definitely want to stay tuned for that. But the book that is going to be given away next week is this book right here. This is the next week's giveaway. It is a 9.4 with white pages, Saga of the Swamp Thing, number 37 from 1985. This is the first full appearance of John Constantine. This is the book that is going to be given away next week. So you definitely want to stay tuned to all the videos that are coming out from the channel next week, because in one of those videos, I'm going to give you a phrase, and all you need is that phrase to actually enter the giveaway. And so definitely a cool book. I've never actually held this book before, so it's a cool book. I've seen a lot of people with it, but I've never actually held it before. So it's an Alan Moore. I did not realize that. Alan Moore story. There you go. Saga of the Swamp Thing, first full appearance of John Constantine, 9.4 white pages. There you go. That is the book that is going to be given away free to one lucky subscriber of the channel. And again, a huge shout out to the folks over at Go Collect who have continued to support the channel for all of these many months and many months moving forward. So let's real quick. Saga of the Swamp Thing. What issue? 37. Let's go ahead and look this one up, and we'll see what the FMV is with this book. And we can probably see it over there. No, it's a 9.4. So a 9.4 right now is going for about $200. This is the interface for Go Collect, but you scroll down, you see 9.4 FMV, fair market value of $200. The last sale was November. The most recent 25 sales are being exposed right there. You can see 194, 229, 179, 148. Somebody got a good deal there, 225, et cetera, et cetera. So this is the book that is going to be given away this next week. So all you have to do is stay tuned to the channel for the video. And in one of those videos, I'll give you the phrase, and it won't be Swamp Thing or Constantine. I can tell you that. But definitely stay tuned to the channel. So what's funny is when these books arrived, there was an invoice. There was an invoice in the packing thing for the book. And I chuckled to myself as I pulled this out and read it. And here's the note that was inside. This is the note that was inside the package. It says, "Pack extra carefully. This is the YouTube guy." Oh man, so you can tell that I have conversations with people that sell me comics, and again, when I find someone that I like to buy from that has fair prices, I go back to them time and time again. And so clearly he's sending a message to somebody. I don't think that the message was intended for me, though. Somebody left it stuck to the invoice inside the package. But shout out for packing this extra careful. They wrapped it in bubble wrap every which way and then put peanuts all over it. And so it was a well-packed comic for sure. So scrolling down to the bottom. There was no blue tape there. There was no blue tape, unfortunately. I don't know. I don't know if I've made it. I just got a kick out. I went and showed it to my wife, and I was like, babe, check this out. So she got a big kick out of that. All right. So let me give you guys a rundown of some of the videos that are going to be coming out this coming week. Someone during yesterday's live stream was like, Reg, when are you coming out with the hunting video? This week, you will get a hunting video. It is coming out to you. I'm also doing a video on it's an X-Men related video. And if I give you the exact title, you'll know what it's about. So I can't do that. Let's just say it's an X-Men related video that is coming out. I think it's a fun one. It's about some undervalued books that could be keys. But more importantly, I think that what I'm going to be talking about in this video might be important down the road for like the X-Men, right? Because I think that Jonathan Hickman has done a lot of little stuff where he's kind of peppered some stuff in. And I think that those things that he peppered in will have some significance later on. And so the books that I'm going to be showing you, will it be worth something? I honestly don't know. But could you read them to gain an appreciation for these characters and for the story so that when they reappear, you will better understand them? That is the point of this video. So that video is coming out this week. I've also completed a run. I've completed a run of comics. And you want to stay tuned for that. Let's just put it that way. And many of you guys know I also did a video a couple of weeks ago in which I did some market research, right? Market research here through the channel. We had about 200 people that actually responded to the survey. So shout out to everybody that actually participated and or sent the invite to a friend. And so in this video that is going to be coming out this week, I'm actually going to be showing you the results of the market research that was conducted here with the subscribers of the channel. And so I'm actually reacting to it kind of sort of in real time. And so you will have an opportunity to hear my reactions, see my reactions, and then also a comment, because maybe you appreciate the data a little bit differently than I do. And so I think it's going to be a fun video because I think it may reveal a couple of things. So definitely stay tuned to that. And then I'm also going to be releasing one podcast this week. So I think what I'm going to do is cut back from 2 podcasts per week to 1. And so that one will probably be pushed out on Monday morning at 7:30 a.m. Pacific time. So stay tuned for that. So for those that don't know, if you're new here to the channel, I definitely want to encourage you to hit the subscribe button so that you can stay abreast of all the content that I release on a weekly basis. The videos that I just mentioned to you a few moments ago will be coming out at 3:30 p.m. Pacific time all next week, with the exception of the podcast, which, as I mentioned, will be dropping on Monday at 7 o'clock a.m. Pacific time. And so if you have any issues, questions, comments about any of that stuff, don't hesitate to reach out to me. I am always available to you to be able to answer any questions. So let me scroll down and make sure I didn't miss anything. Reggie going hunting. Man, you have to hunt with what you have. Awesome. Is it ASM? Brother, I'm not going to steal my own thunder. That would be preempting my own action, right? So what I will say to you is that there is a video that is coming out this week. And in that video, I have basically almost completed a run. And I'm not going to tell you what it is, but you definitely want to stay tuned. I am not commenting. I see all of you guys, and I'm not going to say whether you are right or wrong or about any of this stuff. I'm not going to say that. I'm simply going to say stay tuned for the videos, because you could be right or you could be wrong. Only time will tell. Tina, thank you. I definitely appreciate you. Glitter, have a wonderful night, comic fam. Thank you, brother. I definitely appreciate you guys. So, Reggie, can you please make a full ASM run when you finish it? And maybe that is the video that's coming out this week, Matthew. I don't know. Maybe that's it. What I will commit to, what I will tell you, and what I will commit to, because I think Tina actually asked me this, and she asked me this a while ago. When that run is completed, I will go through it. I don't know if I'm going to go through the full run in one video, because that's 801 comics. That's a lot of comics. It may be broken down into a series. Like I may do like volume 1 or something like that, which is 1 through 441 or something like that. But I will do it. We'll have to figure out the best way to do it, because that's like a marathon video, man. You know, I don't even know if my voice could hold up that long. But what I will say to you guys is definitely stay tuned. Oh, Matthew. All right, so I'm gonna wrap this up. I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me just a little bit. Again, stay tuned to the video that are coming out this week, because this is a really cool book that someone will actually walk away with at some point this week. Someone also already walked away with a really cool book. Robert actually walked away with this. So again, shout out to everybody that watches the videos every single week. I absolutely appreciate you guys. And if you need to reach out to me, feel free to do so at Reggie Collects on Instagram and RegieCollects@gmail.com. Take care.